And here we go. And I'm not going to shut up talking about it, because what we need right now is everybody talking about it. Okay? They're counting on you to be tired of it. They're counting on you to forget about it. They're counting on you to let it go. And we shall not let it go, because the truth will set you free. Today we're going to go on again with these injuries, deaths, and this murder campaign that have been unleashed on the world, and especially here in America. Now, today I have a clip. It's Dr. Tenpenny. She was one of the first doctors to come out speaking against this stuff. She was trying to tell you guys what was going on with this, and they de-platformed her.
Deplatforming works, and it is important. And there you go.
They deplatform everyone who is telling you the truth, and they promote the lie, and they put the lie in the mouths of people that you feel are reputable. Okay? Dr. Fauci, your own doctor, and all these people, okay, could care less about you. All they want is money and power. Now, I'm going to present some more evidence today. I want you to share this video with your friends, give it a thumbs up, and do not be silent. If we're silent, we are really going to lose. This is phase 1, COVID. The next phase is going to be the border. You know, they're rolling out these systems. I'm imploring you to please pay attention. Everything they do is not by chance. It's been calculated, war-roomed, planned out, and now executed. And the longer Americans, I don't care about anybody else in the world, we are Americans, and we have the Founding Fathers documents that we need to take seriously and take our country back so we can actually save the world again. All right. So here's Dr. Tenpenny and what she has to say.
Our next guest been wanting to have on for a long time. From the very beginning, she told people, don't take the CV-19 bioweapon vax. And of course, she was punished for that. She's a medical doctor. She's written books about vaccines and why they don't work and why you shouldn't take them. She's a favorite of Big Pharma. Kidding. They hate her, but we love her for that because she's looking after you and I. It is Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, thank you for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
Thank you so much for having me, Greg. I've been a big fan of yours for a very long time.
It's very kind of you to say. Listen, you told people you were one of I tell people this all the time. I said, let me tell you what happened with the doctors. It wasn't the dumb doctors that stepped out and stepped into the breach and got punished. It was the smart doctors, Dr. Pierre Corey, Dr. Ryan Cole, Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. Elizabeth E., Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. It was the smart doctors that said no. And sure enough, you've been proven right again. We had the official end of COVID this past week, and it's not over, is it? It's far from over with the CV-19 bioweapon vax. Am I right, or am I blowing this out of proportion?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, when I started talking about this, Greg, just for your listeners' sake, some of them that may not know my background, is that I've been talking about problems associated with vaccines since September of 2000. I've been the lead pony on this for a long time, and not just all of the shots that have never been proven to be safe, effective, keep you from getting sick, and they all definitely cause harm, every last one of them. So when the COVID shot started coming out at when COVID came in March of 2020, and then they started talking about the shots, it was just a natural extension for me to do the research and to look at all the things from the COVID vaccine, which isn't even a vaccine. I shouldn't even call it that. It's a bioweapon. And when I did the 40 mechanisms of injury, it was 20, and then I found 20 more. So 40 mechanisms of injury in July of 21 of how the COVID shots can make you sick or kill you. I've been talking about it for almost 2 years now. And over the last 2 years, each one of the mechanisms that I had discovered from the peer-reviewed medical literature actually was more and more and more evidence coming out about what was actually happening. So from early on, I tried to warn people. That was the biggest thing that I did. I told my assistant, Michelle, I said, buckle up. We're going to be really busy. And in a given year, Greg, I probably do about 30 interviews. In 18 months, from March of 22 till from March of 20 to December of 21, I did over 600 interviews warning people about what was coming, because you can divide the mechanisms of injury into 4 categories. Category 1 is acute death. Anaphylactic shock, acute heart attack, stroke, blood clot to the lungs, people that die within the first 48 hours of getting a shot. I call that category 1. Category 2 is what happens with the spike protein, and that's what we're seeing now, somewhere between 2 to 3 or 4 years from the time that you've gotten your 2 shots and a booster, or even 1 shot, that you see all the organ system damage that's caused by the spike proteins and all the other things that we are identifying that are actually in these shots. And that's category 2, which is like 3 to 5 years out from when people have gotten the shots, that people are dropping over dead. And then there's category 3, which is the autoimmune disease that happens by creating the antibody to the spike protein, which cross-reacts with your own body's proteins from your liver, your kidney, your brain, your organ systems, your joints. That autoimmune disease, that from the time you get your 2 shots and your booster, you've got at least 10 years to look over your shoulder of different types of autoimmune diseases that will develop, because autoimmune diseases take a while to evolve and show up. And then category 4 is all the miscellaneous things we're seeing, like the huge big spike up in cancers that they're now calling turbo cancers, the infertility, because we know that the global birth rate is down all across the world. We're seeing all the blood disorders and things that are happening, the third trimester deaths, the late term deaths in all of these infants that are dying in utero that my good friend Jim Thorpe talks about, and my good friend Brian Cole that talks about the spike in the cancers. I mean, we are a long ways out from seeing this stop. This whole infectious process stopped a long time ago, and it had, 0.3% death rate or something? But we're going to see a huge mortality death rate from these COVID shots for years to come.
It's pretty enlightening. And I know a lot of these videos are a little bit longer than the 10 or 12 minutes that you guys like to invest your time in, but please, this warrants all the time. It warrants all the time for you to stay focused, pay attention, listen to what's said, take notes, and then share. Now, also, as you heard Dr. Tenpenny describe to you about the autoimmune diseases and problems that people are going to suffer, we have an insider, right, that has actually blown the whistle on what the jab does to you and the plans behind it, okay? So I'm going to read to you what she's saying, and then I'm going to show you the video clip. The video clip is of poor quality. I apologize firsthand. I'm not a highly technical individual. I videotape these recordings on the camera and then present them to you. And in many cases, that has saved the video from disappearing, because they pull the videos that have the truth, like the doctor or the lawyer in Massachusetts. They pulled her video, been on the YouTube for 13 years, was almost at 1 million views, and then the minute I put it in our video, tried to get the word out and started really spreading that information about the chemtrails, all of a sudden that video was removed from YouTube. And if I would have downloaded that clip into my clip, my video would have a big dark space in it. Okay, so that's why you guys are getting the video on the camera, so that way no one can disrupt our video. All right, now this is what the whistleblower says. The vaccine decreases the ability to produce white blood cells by 50% from your first vaccine. Please do your homework. Your white blood cells are in charge of, they're your army inside your body, and they fight all the disease, and they fight all of the, heavy metals and everything inside your bloodstream that's not supposed to be here. Those are your warriors, okay? Your ability to make another generation of white blood cells takes 8 weeks, which is why they set up at 8 weeks to hit it again with another vaccine. That's when the booster, you're supposed to get your booster, okay? And you'll hit that white blood cells ability while they're down. They decrease the saline in the second vaccine and increase the harmful ingredients. So now you have a shift in the ingredients. The second dose decreases your ability to produce white blood cells by an additional 25%. You've wiped out 75% of your military and the ability to make your military. So your body can't even rejuvenate the white blood cells. Then the booster has 81 strands of foreign bacteria that your cells have never come across. You know, like eating locally, right? So like your body is in tune with where you live to fight off the things that are in that area to keep you healthy. It's just, it's the way we are designed. Your body has 25% of your white blood cells functioning. Chronic inflammation appears where you had a predisposition. If you have gastric, respiratory, skin, autoimmune issues, cancer, etc., all become accelerated as it hits the central nervous system, causing fight or flight. And your body is in a constant inflammatory state. Then you get your second booster, which has 8 strands of HIV. Yeah, you heard it right. And if you guys do your homework, Fauci was in charge of HIV. If you listened to my video yesterday, Fauci had to do war games because that was the only place the money came from, right? To continue on his program to make the mRNA vaccines, or gene therapies, as they're called. Okay, he had to go to the war complex, and that's why they switched everything to Wuhan. And if you did not, you know, the lab, in China, Wuhan, you know what I'm talking about. That's why he switched over to the lab. If you did not watch yesterday's video, please do. It is loaded full of information. Once you cannot make white blood cells, you become dependent on the boosters for life, like a diabetic that needs insulin. Okay? Now, here's the big pharma whistleblower in her own words.
And I have 1,600 patients. Many are vaccinated. Just to give you a little bit of backstory about my credibility. What I've seen so far and what I've learned is all information from physicians, medical physicians, natural physicians, and also immunization of virology doctors, things like that, and then also nurses. So what I'm about to share with you is the first vaccine, the second vaccine, and then the boosters and what it does to your body. The first vaccine, as it goes into your body, it has a small amount of saline and then a bunch of ingredients that are very catastrophic to your cellular system. What that does to your immune system, which is your bone marrow, your thymus gland, your spleen, and all other systems associated with your immune system, it decreases the ability to produce white blood cells by 50% from your first vaccine. Then 8 weeks later, which is white blood cell reproductive system, so your ability to make another generation of white blood cells is 8 weeks. That's why they set it up 8 weeks later, to hit it again. So you hit the white blood cell ability while it's down. So now what you do is now they decrease the saline in the second one, and they increase the harmful ingredients. So now you have a shift in the ingredients. So they decrease the saline and increase. So now there's a shift. And then what they do is that second dose attacks your ability to make white blood cells by an additional 25%. So now you only have a white blood cell ability, like the ability to make white blood cells functioning at 25%. So you just wiped out 75% of your military and the ability to make that military. Then what they do is they set in the booster. The booster has 81 strands of foreign bacteria that your cells have never come across, so you don't have the antibodies to fight it, but you only have 25% of your white blood cell production to be able to fight it, so it's a losing battle. So then what starts to happen is you start to get chronic inflammation that goes to the areas that you had predisposition. So if you were someone that has gut health issues, that's your area that it's going to focus on, and you're going to have inflammation in the gut health. If it's respiratory, if you have tumor or cancer, or if you have, say, endometriosis, or you have a skin condition, whatever that is, it's going to inflame that area, because now the body has hit the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight, and the body is in a chronic inflammatory state with a low immunity and a low immune response. Then you get your second booster. What the second booster has is it has 8 strands of HIV. And now what that does is it completely shuts off your ability to make white blood cells. And if you Google what that disease is, it is HIV. So now we have people that are walking around with no immune system, no ability to make an immune system, 81 strands of foreign bacteria, and then also 8 strands of foreign HIV. along with all the other harmful ingredients, and then they remove all the saline from the first and second booster. Now, to make matters worse, during this process, 20 to 30% of the population is going to die every single series of this process. There's 4 series. They have 3 more boosters that are coming out, and the reason why is because once they make you so that your immune system can't make white blood cells anymore, you become dependent on the boosters to survive, just like someone becomes dependent on insulin. Big Pharma is looking for people that either die off to protect our population control, and then those that don't die off, we will have reoccurring customers for life with the boosters so that they will be able to maintain income and collect the money back from all the funding that they put in to make these vaccines in the first place. So hope that was helpful. I hope that you listen to this properly, and I hope that you take the time to do your own critical thinking and just give it 2 to 3 years. Every single animal that participated in this study for any of these vaccines had a 100% death rate. And I encourage you all to just take a moment, look around you, and just wait it out. And let's just see let nature take its course, and let's just see what happens. Thank you.
And that was Wuhan. Remember when everyone said, and even President Trump said it came from Wuhan, the China virus, and everybody ridiculed him and mocked him? Man, I hope you guys are paying attention. I really hope you're paying attention, okay? These videos, the videos that I am presenting to you, are for information purposes, okay? They are to help you to understand that there's some really evil stuff going on right now. Some super evil stuff. And if you are a Christian, if you are a Bible-believing person, you better suit up, and you better get your voice moving, and you better start making some noise, okay? It all starts locally, and then it goes out from there. We have got to fight back against this using our voice, using our protesting, and ultimately using our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. Give me a thumbs up on the video, right? Because information is power, okay? The truth will set you free. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please consider subscribing to our channel. We have 1,500 videos that teach you how to live without the system, growing food, living off of rainwater, pooping in buckets, the whole 9. You do not need any of this headache that you've had for the last 4 years. None of it, okay? But you have to stay vigilant. We are in the times of Noah, and I am imploring you to build your ark. All right? We'll see you guys on the next video.
Vaccinations. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.